We are live. Hi, everybody. This is a first. Well, let me back up. This is season 2, episode what, 3 or 4?
I think so. I think this is a very special episode.
This is a very special episode because we've pulled 2 random people in a hot tub somewhere in the United States, and we're going to interview them. They've never been to Jazzfest. They've never been to New Orleans.
Want to go? Sounds cool.
We have.
Is there jazz at Jazzfest?
There is. That's all there is at Jazzfest is jazz.
I'm not interested then.
So they're going to tell us where they are right now in a second, but we have Amy Potter and Jeff Potter, and they're somewhere in the United States, but I'm not sure where. Where are you guys?
We're in Bozeman, Montana.
Bozeman, Montana. You guys moved up there, what, a year or 2 ago?
About a year and a half.
Yeah, end of the summer in 2020. So,
right in the middle of the pandemic, or even at the start.
It's time to move.
yeah, we figured it's as good a time as any to uproot the kids and make a change because everything was so screwed up anyway. So it's been our long-term plans to end up in Bozeman. I had family here and Amy grew up here, so we're living the dream right now. Living in Amy's parents' basement, getting ready to build a house next door and over the summer. So
wow.
It takes a while to build these days. Supply chain, growing economy here, all that.
Be honest though, you're in a movie set and that's a green screen, right? That's a fake fake background.
I just wish it wasn't cloudy and you guys were getting a sunset.
Oh, it looks beautiful. So we're gonna. Oh, I already hit record, didn't I? So
you did. Sorry.
We are live. Ooh, I should actually start editing myself. So we're going to, before we launch into this series of penetrating and probing questions, I want to just let our audience know that we have a great photo that I'm going to bring up of the 2 of you and me and a friend of mine. And hang on a second, we're a share screen here. Here we go. Does that work? Can you guys see that?
You did it.
Yeah.
I love it. So that is in 2007. It was Tipitina's, right?
Yeah,
What's tips?
that's upstairs.
Upstairs. And I can't remember, did Fats Domino perform or was he just there visiting?
I think he was just a guest.
I think he was just a guest, and
Yeah, his instruments are coming.
we were outside getting ready to come in, and he came walking up, and I had another picture of Amy with Fats like right behind her, like she's like, "Whoa!"
It's so cool. That was definitely a thrill, right?
Definitely one of those only in New Orleans moments.
A thrill on Blueberry Hill.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to start with that, but Nicole, it's all yours.
Well, you've definitely upped the ante already. I think that the bar is at a new high. We have a hot tub and we have a photo of our friends with Fats Domino. Very, very cool. I don't know how anybody else is going to be able to follow that, right?
We should just cancel the show.
That's it. We're done. If that's true, then I'm just going to go.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you guys for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. That's it. All right, so tell us, guys. You guys have been going to Jazzfest for a while, so tell us, how did you get started, each of you, and how many have you been to?
All right, so I went the first time in '98, and I've not missed any except the last 2 years. So I always kind of have to count that on my fingers. I don't know, it's 20 something. And I went my last year of law school. A friend had gone the year before and she said it was amazing and fun. And I knew nothing about the music, anything. I just went for a long weekend to go party in New Orleans, and we did, and it was fabulous. Yeah. How about you there, Jeff?
Well, then we met in summer of 2002, and that spring, Amy's like, "Hey, we're going to Jazzfest for this long weekend," and I was like, "Going to what?" And saw the lineup and saw some, big names I knew, and was like, "All right, let's go." And it was just like I'd fly in on a Friday, out on a Sunday kind of thing, and had a great time. And it's like, okay, we're going back next year, but we're going for longer.
That's how it begins.
So Go ahead.
This is a little off script. I'm gonna do that this time, but I always think of you guys as being there with your two children. Can you tell everyone about like the history of you guys bringing your family to Fest?
Yeah.
Like, I think we connected. So, Amy and I were early in our relationship when we came to Jazzfest together for the first time. And I think we both really connected and bonded over that experience and being there and planning for it and getting excited about it. And so, when we started a family, it only felt natural to bring the kids, to it, and out of the cold into the warmth of the South when we're living up here in the Arctic North. And at that time of year, it's kind of turned into mud season. So there's really nothing good going on. The ski areas are all closed and everything's muddy or cold and frozen still. And so, yeah.
And we were going anyway, and you can't leave babies behind for the
That
most
too.
part, at least not for like a week or plus. So they were going, we were going, they were going. It was always just kind of the way it was going to be. So the first Jazz Fest that Natalie went to would have been in 08. And she was a few months old, and yeah, she had some medical stuff. We ended up in the hospital down there with her. She had some breathing trouble. It's like, couldn't get any scarier, but she was fine. And I think
and Amy let me still go see Neil Young that day. What
are you gonna do? She's like,
Priorities, right? Priorities.
Yeah. And then the next year she was, almost a year and a half, and I was very pregnant with Nick. He was born in July 1st. So like that was the worst Jazz Fest. I was very miserable, sick all the time, couldn't eat any of the good food, had to go home from Fest, take a bath and go to bed. It was kind of miserable, but it was still amazing because it was Jazz Fest. So yeah, they've kind of always been there. They've grown up on it. They love it. They are off doing activities now, but Nick might give us a cameo. I told him to stop by. We'll see. Natalie's at dance till whenever. They're teenagers, middle school, and they're really looking forward to getting back this year. I told them it might be the last. They might not be allowed to skip high school, but they're coming with us this year. We can't wait.
Yeah, they're getting to the age now where we're like, maybe wait till they're 21 again.
How old are they now?
We get full price tickets these days.
Natalie just turned 14 and Nick's 12.
Wow.
Natalie will be in high school next year. So
Crazy, right? I mean, it's such a cliche, but it goes by so quickly.
It really does. Jeff's gonna try to get a little light. Keep talking.
Our network censors they don't like nudity at all. So what are you guys drinking?
I'm just drinking box of Chardonnay, my standby, but it's in a TCF mug.
Well, that's important.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, when you're in the cold of Bozeman, Montana, that's very important.
Yeah.
So I'm going to continue with the interview. We don't need Jeff. We didn't want him anyway.
I'll be right there.
Oh, he's there. He heard me. I'm sorry.
Too much light?
Wait,
So the first fest you guys went to, were you guys already a couple, or is that just sort of friends? What was that about?
no,
Yeah, we were dating at that point. We hadn't moved in together yet, but
we were dating. No, the first fest, I went to Fest 5 years before Jeff and brought him along. But we did meet at a place in Palo Alto called NOLA, which was a New Orleans restaurant. And so it's just kind of meant to be.
So this is not a question that we thought about before, but so Amy, you said you'd been there 5 times before you brought Jeff. Is that right?
Yep, 98 was my first, and then Jeff 2003.
How was it that first time? How was it bringing someone else?
It was good because Jeff really took it more seriously than me. When I'd gone with girlfriends, we kind of slept in, went out late on Bourbon Street, ate a lot of Bourbon Street pizza, and drank those aliens and hurricanes. And we might show up for Fest by like 2 in the afternoon. Just kind of go to a couple big names and go home. Jeff's like, okay, this is at 11. We need to go here and there and get some chairs and meet some people. So it definitely upped my game.
That's great. That's great.
yeah, I was inspired, Chris. I mean, just the whole atmosphere and all the different music, and I had been into live music, but didn't see a ton in college, and then was living in the Bay Area, and it's like, okay, yeah, New Orleans sounds good. We were living in the Bay Area, and that first trip we went to a Cowboy Mouth show because Amy knew Cowboy Mouth, was like, we're going. And that night we stuck around for the show after, which happened to be some guy, playing was the Howlin' Wolf at the time, the Republic Now, but Michael Franti in a club show with this beatboxing guy, and it was unbelievable. And we're like, he's from San Francisco. And we're seeing him in New Orleans, discovering that here. So, just the plethora of local music was, blew me away, and I was hooked. That was it.
I'm remembering something. Maybe my memory is not correct, but was it you guys who brought John Boucher and Paul Sanchez together for that 2007 show at the Pottery?
You were involved. Yeah, I think you were involved, and Nathan and Nancy too. Nate and Nancy.
Yeah,
I wasn't involved in bringing you guys though. I thought
we had just moved back to Victor, Idaho, and so that would have been.
I don't think we had moved back.
Was that the fall? That was like immediately after Katrina, wasn't it? When they
we hadn't moved back yet.
Yeah, we were just visiting the area in the fall, late summer or the fall. It had to be because it was after Katrina.
Anyway,
maybe it was the following summer.
Carry on, that doesn't matter.
It was within a year of Katrina, and Cowboy Mouth inexplicably was playing a free show outside at the Jackson Hole Mountain Resort under the tram. Which was kind of a random thing because it wasn't something they did a lot in the summer. So we went up and saw the show, and John Thomas Griffin was suffering from serious altitude sickness, and and Paul was, really hurting from the storm, and they played a good show and stuff. But that was the first chance we really gotten to talk to Paul and meet Paul, and just talking with him, you could tell he was really, really hurting, and I think that stuck with us. And at the time, he and John were doing some living room shows and stuff around, probably more around New Orleans, I guess, but I'd seen that on Facebook or MySpace, whatever was going on at the time. And, so the idea just kind of percolated, and reached out to him, I think through Facebook, and
Facebook or
MySpace or
crazy, but I thought he gave us like a CD, sort of a hand-burned CD of solo stuff.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And we're like, wow, this is cool.
I think it was just maybe Jet Black and Blue.
I don't know. That's the best we can do.
Yeah.
It goes something like that.
Yeah, that was it, but it was that summer show and talking to him and really kind of getting to know him. And then we just reached out, and I had gotten involved in some music production stuff locally, and was like, this is no big deal. We'll just make this happen. And it worked out great.
Yeah.
That it did.
Yes. What are a few like standout? So those are some really standout moments from like outside of the fairgrounds. Can you guys share with us a few standout moments from Jazzfest itself?
Well, there's one that's for everybody. Go ahead. The main one. Bruce.
Yeah, Bruce in 2006 was just a watershed moment in live music and the power of healing. And that one stands out for sure. For me, seeing Tom Petty with Natalie on my shoulders, Tom singing American Girl, and that was one of the first, I think, real identifiable moments of a musical moment that has really stuck with Natalie.
That's true.
She brings that one up quite a bit.
She knows all the words
anytime
to
Tom
the
comes
songs
on the
now.
radio,
She's a big
and
fan.
that one sticks with her, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember a really good dance-a-thon with Lisa from Canada. It was Kid Rock. I feel like I shouldn't admit that now, but it was good. I loved it. I still love his music, even though he's a little interesting these days.
And then, I mean, those are the
big names.
The big name ones that really stick out, but there's so many.
Oh, any Midnight Disturbers show.
Yeah, I mean, the Disturbers,
highlight.
The first time you see Shorty, the first time you see Shamar.
How did you guys get involved with the Threadheads?
Through the board.
Yeah.
The OG board.
I don't think it's the OG board. There was a
Maybe it's
purple,
the
purple
OG,
board
OG, second OG board.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just got connected, going on the board and getting information about going to Fest. And Amy was more the board chatter than I was at the time.
I'm not
But
sure that's
I took some encouragement to
true.
get going, but once I did, I was sort of in.
I think you were the first one researching on the board,
Okay.
though, like kind of figuring out where to go and what to do. And then we got to chatting, but you were really pulling up information. And then I was like, oh, let's talk to people.
That makes sense.
What's your involvement been with the Threadhead? So we know you got started by participating in the message boards, but you know that turns into something else. So what has that turned into for you guys?
It started on the board, and I mean, it was pretty organic because from the board, it was basically Amy telling me, what was that, Fest of, is that 04 or 05? First Patriot,
We were
04
at the
05.
First Patriot. I can't-
We're going to Fest. She's like, oh yeah, we got tickets for this Tuesday thing that we're going to. And it's like, who, with what, who, where, how did this come about? And I didn't have the scoop. So we showed up and had a great time seeing Rebirth and Kermit and
Being
hitting the
killed
gut
by the
buster.
Woo.
being young and stupid in my third or fourth time in New Orleans.
Sounds about right. Yep. And then Chris started this little foundation, and I was on the board of that for a while, which was great. And yeah.
Well, and after Katrina, we were part of the impetus behind the raffle.
Oh, that's true.
And
I think you
worked
did
with
you start the raffle basically.
Worked with a bunch of others, the Ohios, Brian and Patty, and Michelino, and
The original raffle, though, there was no online drawing. I think there was online ticket buying.
online ticket buying with PayPal, and then
But we,
drawing in
before
person.
we came down, like cut the strips a certain amount with a paper cutter and then brought the envelopes to Fest. And while we're watching music, we just be folding them up and putting them in the right envelopes. That's the old school way it was done.
Yeah, and then some other Threadheads who are quite tech savvy that I mentioned before helped us further
Yeah.
digitize it. And thankfully others have taken over since
Yes.
then, and it continues to be a driver. So that's cool. That was, I think that, you know, us, and that was just us wanting to do something from far away after everything terrible that had happened. And the first couple were
We're smaller.
fundraising for the New Orleans Musicians Clinic at the time.
Mhm.
So
That's true. That is kind of how that started.
yeah.
I always picture your kids selling the day of raffle, like the day of Patriot raffle tickets,
Yeah.
because they're the best at selling them. Because number one,
really
you
are.
can't say
They have an
no
expertise.
to
You can't say no.
them.
Well, and now
I
there
think
will
you're
be
right.
other wonderful, young, sweet, innocent-faced raffle ticket sellers for the future generation.
Nah, they're gonna keep doing it. That's
Good
the
Well, they
point.
will
price.
Yeah.
too, but
The
you
price
know,
of admission.
with
They gotta-
other
they gotta sell,
littles, little Marinetti or
Oh, Sammy's little.
Yeah.
Leo.
because you know Leo's going to be coming down to Fest as soon as.
Someday. I don't know. You don't know what other people.
Can't
are
wait to
gonna-
meet Leo at Jazzfest.
We will put these babies to work immediately. I mean, immediately,
do it.
because Chris Joseph does not have an innocent face. He can't sell a single raffle ticket.
Totally dark.
We've tried. I mean,
No.
we've tried to monetize this, but it has not worked. So,
I've had some ideas for selling raffle tickets, but they bomb. Yeah, it's not good. Is it my question or your question? I've lost where we are.
it's you, Chris. I think maybe. No, it's me.
Oh, it's you.
me.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Things are just going off the tracks here. You give me a hot tub and all of this, and I'm just losing it.
This is why we need rehearsal.
Ever and memory. So
Yeah.
All good. I don't have to be anywhere till I get Natalie at 8:15. So
awesome. Okay. What so tell us a favorite memory from a Threadhead event or several.
you want to go first?
Boy, there have been so many. You know, we probably would say all the big ones, right? Like when Dr. John showed up at the Patriot, we were all, I think we were working the gate and he came in, we're all like, oh my God, oh my God, tell everybody. So that's a huge one. Not that there aren't many more quiet and less big picture ones than that, but of course that sticks in your mind.
One of my favorite Threadhead Patriot shows, kind of surprises, was the first Shamar and the Underdogs show at the Old Frenchman spot. And he had this band that they weren't together very long, but they had some really good players, and those guys just threw down that night. It was so much fun, and that was definitely a big highlight and an early impetus to like, we just need to do this every year. Why aren't we? We should be doing this every single year.
Yeah.
And hopefully, God willing, we'll be able to this year again.
Oh, we will. I think there's no question.
You guys have your plane tickets?
We have our plane tickets. Hotel, not yet. I keep looking at the prices. You know, I like to get the $75 deals. They haven't popped up. It may not happen. But we have flights coming down first Friday and back second Sunday. So we'll be there for most of the whole thing.
So what would you tell first timers who are either going there on their own for the first time, or if they're bringing kids? What have you learned that you can tell other people?
If you're bringing kids, riding the bus is a great way to get from Canal Street out to the fairgrounds and back. It's the most affordable way to get out there and back. And for young kids, you know, our kids at least were coming from small rural towns, and so riding a bus in a city is a good experience for them. You know, it's a life skill, and it stimulates their minds, and it's a good way for them to see lots of other people. And it's you know, you got to leave a little extra time, but it's way better than hopping in a cab or an Uber and hoping they drop you at the right spot, because the buses drop at a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
Too. So.
And the kids love the bus. Other kids might not. They have to ride a city bus all the time, but ours think it's cool. I would just say for any first timer, parent or not, to be prepared. Like Jeff kind of got us in that vein. Look at the cubes. Look at, you know, your day from start to finish. Look at the grids. Figure out what you actually want to do instead of just, you know, showing up whenever and wasting that opportunity. And plan the food too with kids. They love the mac and cheese, the fried chicken. Ours love the yakame. There's that ice cream. There's lots of good tasty treats for kids.
Yeah, there's a kids food area over in the kids area at the fest, and it's just, you know, all kid friendly stuff, and it's right over there. So that's the kids area, especially with young kids, is a good respite to get away from the crowds a little bit.
Yeah, and we brought in one year when they were little, a wading pool. You know, you blow it up, and I forget how we got water in that thing, but somehow we did. And that, especially northern kids, I think Nick's gonna claim he's dying again. It gets above 70 and he melts. So that really helps when your kids are getting hot, to regulate their temperature, to have a little something they can put their feet in.
Or just go look for Bill over there with the water boys at Acura, and
They'll hose you down.
they'll spray you down.
Do you take your kids to see what they want to see, or do they follow you?
I would say when they're young, they're following us, and when they're young, they're forcing changes to the itinerary. But as they're getting older, you know, I mean, I think especially Natalie really has some diversity in her interests musically, and you know, I know she was really excited to see Lizzo the last couple of years, and that's obviously not happening. But
And Demi Lovato.
Demi
She was
Lovato,
jazzed for that.
but
Just like Katy Perry.
but oh, if I can turn that off. No, it's the heat.
Honestly, this is the best interview we've done.
Well, the tub is getting cool, so that might be our.
I would just add that, you know, there's some things that I have a lot of similar tastes with the kids, that pop stuff and whatnot. Like Pitbull was a huge hit for all of us, kids and me. Jeff loved it too. Don't let him tell you different.
So what are you guys most looking forward to? You said you are making it to Fest in April. I'm so excited to hear that. What are you looking forward to most?
Looking forward to this fest.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, just being back,
Yeah, really.
that first Laius's Bloody Mary before going in the gates, being there.
I agree. Just being there, seeing everybody,
Yep.
the food, the fairgrounds. I remember when we weren't sure if there would be a fest after Katrina and how lucky we felt just to be there. Now it's been years. It's going to be just that much sweeter, I think. The lineup for me is kind of like a greatest hits. There's not a whole lot of new pop in there, but who cares? It's all good stuff. I'm going to be happy to see everything. That's on
Shamar
that
at the
lineup.
Square on Wednesday.
Oh yeah, that's sweet. Right on the days between.
That's the hot
Patriot.
tip. I love
Yeah,
it. Well,
no.
thank you guys so much. This has been so much fun. And it's
We've had fun. Thanks for inviting us to chat.
I kind of feel like I'm tripping a little, like, to be honest.
We did it right then.
or maybe Nicole, it's a flashback.
It may be. I'm not sure.
All right, guys, I'm going to turn this off. Hang on a second. Whoops.
Night, everyone.
Sorry,
Yes!
I hit the wrong button.
Oh, we're still